Hello there, Z-Manzilla here. I recently created 2 top 10 videos about things I see in Snapmaps a lot. Things which I either don't understand or will downvote on site. They were relatively popular and got a lot of feedback and responses. However, there was something about them that I didn't like. And after some soul searching, I think I came across what that was.
The negativity.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'm critical by nature. And I will admit I like pointing my finger at so-called bad things and laughing. I think we all enjoy it. However, I also think contrast is important, and that we should highlight and celebrate the things we do like, if only to make sure we clarify where the lines are drawn between good and bad. So, I was thinking it might be a good idea to provide a counterpoint to those other lists. Basically, a collection of things that I really like about Snapmaps, especially when I review them. Now, to keep this list fair and accessible, I'm going to be listing things that are not related to custom geo. Now, don't get me wrong, I love custom geo maps. They are, in my opinion, on a whole other level of creativity, and each custom geo build provides a truly unique and unexpected experience. However, I think it's important to point out the things I like that don't require custom geo to accomplish. Because the truth is, some of my favorite things about Snapmaps are so simple, any mapper can accomplish them with just a little time and some research. After all, not everyone can construct a working skeleton wizard or a towering tech base on the surface of Saturn. With that in mind, let's explore some things that really make me happy when I run across them. Here are 10 things I love seeing in Snapmaps. Number 1. Non-intrusive story elements. Storytelling is the one thing in Snapmaps that truly has no limits. With just a little bit of world text and a few props, you can make any Snapmap more fun. I've played maps where I'm a seedy pit fighter, the leader of a doomed squad, a prisoner escaping a supernatural horror, a man answering a Craigslist ad, and this one time I was even a disgruntled mancubus trying to write a children's book. And I enjoy it every time. I don't care if the combat is dull, the sets are undressed, or the entire loadout is 2 burst rifles and a cardboard sword. If you give me some story with that, I'm going to have a great time. Number 2. Maps designed around loadouts. Justin recently did a video about the specific functions of each weapon in Doom and how each one carries its own risks and rewards, whether it's the rate of fire, damage per second, or even the effects that can harm the player in some way. And based on that, that's kind of why I love it when a map designer designs all of its combat and challenges around limiting the weapons the player has to work with. Forcing a player to rethink their usual strategies is refreshing and even educational. I've gained appreciation for certain weapons that I used to hate thanks to maps like this, most notably the Hellshot. If you've ever said to yourself, well, why don't people like this certain weapon that I like, then hey, try designing an entire map around highlighting that weapon's strengths and see if you can't change some minds. Number 3. Custom game mechanics. Now, I will admit this one can be a little hit and miss, but if a map maker goes through the effort and trouble of programming custom features, then they have always got my attention right away. One of the reasons Snapmaps is such a great level editor is because of the possibilities opened up by map logic, and you can really do some eye-opening things with just a little creativity and vision. Of course, this can be a double-edged sword, like adding sprint buttons, money systems, and experience-based progression. It doesn't guarantee that the map will be more fun, so I like it when mappers back these custom mechanics with story elements and design decisions that support the new features and make using them vital to a player's ultimate success. Number 4. Hordes. Now, any mapper can just throw a bunch of demons into a map and charge you with killing them all, but it takes a very special talent to create big, angry hordes. First of all, that 12 AI limit, it does mean that there's some smoke and mirrors required to create that illusion of a horde, and on top of that, the demons within that horde have to work together to create dangerous and exciting situations, and the player needs to have the weapons and ammo resources to deal with that horde. But if you pull it off, few things in Doom are as much fun as getting bum rushed by a seemingly endless cascade of demons all working together with you hot swapping between like a plasma rifle and a rocket launcher, trying to keep them back frantically. Love it. Number 5. Easter eggs and shoutouts. The Snapmap community is, of course, a community, and it's always nice when the community acknowledges its members. Mappers that add references to other mappers and their maps help support that community feeling. It's a way of acknowledging the mappers you like, and it's even a great way of telling some in-jokes that just wouldn't fly anywhere else. It's also a great way of thanking your beta testers, as well as preserving high scores when you're forced to do updates. Seeing an in-game leaderboard, for example, is a wonderful way of letting players know that their skill and effort is likely to become immortalized in future updates. Now that right there is some excellent incentive for replaying a map. Number 6, creative set dressing. I always try to make a note of the set dressing when I'm playing a map. For those that don't know, by the way, set dressing is when you use props, decals, and other elements to give each module a unique look and feel. Good set dressing shows that you care enough about your work to decorate it. Great set dressing will make a module unique and even memorable without interfering too much with gameplay. And in some cases, great set dressing will even play into the gameplay in a positive way, such as computer access terminals, weapons lockers, and cover. A mapper that takes the time to dress their sets is demonstrating that they are willing to take the time and effort to stand out from the crowd and take advantage of the creative potential Snapmaps has to offer. And hey, how can I not play maps from someone with this design philosophy? Number 7, puzzles. Sometimes it's fun to have to stop for a moment and use your brain to get what you want, especially if the problem you're trying to solve is more complicated than match a key color to a corresponding door. The best SnapMap puzzles, in my opinion at least, are the ones that task the player to solve a problem and then places all the components of the solution where the player can see them to let them figure it out. The complexity of the puzzle isn't the most important part, at least not necessarily. In fact, the best puzzles are going to be the ones that demonstrate clever problem-solving opportunities without dragging down the pacing of the map. Maps with puzzles in them make me happy. Number 8, trope subversion. Often when I'm playing a map, I'll think and even say things like, hey, you can't do this in a map, or this is a game mechanic that just isn't fun. I've had to force myself recently to limit such language, though, because some of my favorite snap maps have come along and used those so-called unusable mechanics and elements in a fun way. There's few things I love more than to play a map that uses something I don't like usually and surprises me by using it well. Examples include big bad spam, lost soul ganks, slappers only sections, and infinite ammo. Finding a way to add fun and challenge to a map element that usually isn't fun or challenging is always a pleasant surprise and will make me remember your map for a long time. Number 9, good scoring and leaderboard support. Now, many people will argue that scoring isn't important to Doom in general, even though scores have been part of the game since the very beginning, but, that's not important. The reason why I like scores is because it provides a competitive element that isn't driven or reliant on SnapMap's dodgy multiplayer. It also gives incentives for learning the map's secrets and replaying the map. Maps that use scoring and leaderboards for best results will include windows of opportunity for score variation, things like multipliers and segments where you get a set amount of time to deal with an endless amount of enemies. But the most important factor is that the scoring system can't be gamed or exploited in a way that gives players an easy way to rack up infinite score. In my opinion, the best survival arenas are going to be the ones with careful attention paid to the scoring and leaderboard element. And finally, number 10, the unexpected. There's no way I can give examples of this, really, because if I could, it would be expected. That said, if you actually manage to do something in your snap map that has never been seen before, or makes me scratch my head as a designer and think, how the heck did they pull that off, then I'm going to love your map. The most recent example of this is when I played Outcast M4 and I saw perfectly round windows. That just blew my mind. And hey, who here can forget the first time they looked up at Psychotron and realized, hey, his face and arms are moving? These are the moments that thrill me and get remembered and brought up anytime someone thinks there's nothing left to do in SnapMaps. And that's my list. What sort of things do you love seeing in SnapMaps? Is there anything on this list you don't agree with? Hey, be sure to let me know in the comments, and of course, I hope you choose to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.